With Venom products, and today we're going to be working with a John Deere Gator 825i. So recently we came out with new Rooster adjustable weights that can actually help lower RPMs while keeping the same acceleration and driving speed. And today we're going to give you a rundown on how to install them, and we're going to show you exactly how to take the clutch off and how to put it back on and what to do with them. Alright, so before we get to the adjustable weights, I'm going to give you guys just a little rundown for why these are such a good idea to put in your clutch, and just the data that we gathered during our testing. So down here, blue bar, we got the stock weight and the stock spring combination, and yellow-orange bar over here, we have the adjustable weight and the new Venom spring we put in there. Left side of the graph, we got RPMs, bottom, cruising speed in miles per hour from 10 to 35. So we'll just take a quick look here. Bottom bar, the yellow one, that's our adjustable weight. We're at about 3420 RPMs, and top one we're at 3550. So there's already that difference cruising at 10 miles an hour. You got a difference of about 130 RPMs. And move up to 15 miles an hour, you hit 170 is the gap between those two. 20 miles an hour, you're looking at 280 RPMs. 25, you're looking at 325. And once you move into 30 and 35 miles per hour cruising speed, you're just below 400. You're at about 390 RPM difference. So it's just a lot better for your clutch over time. You're gonna save quite a bit in gas. It's gonna make for a quieter ride in your cab and just kind of a smoother ride altogether. And this is all without sacrificing any speed or acceleration. So, you know, both of these clutches accelerated these miles per hour in the same amount of time. Before we get to the primary clutch and the adjustable weights, I want to show you guys just a little bit more of the raw data that we got during our testing. So what you're seeing here is we took the factory setup and we took our adjustable weight setup and we put them both on a line and floored it. Put the gas all the way down. And this is just some of the data that we gathered from that. So the top two curves up here, what you're seeing is RPMs over time. And we'll go ahead and zoom in on that a little bit. So the red bar, the red line is the stock weight and spring, and the green one down here, that is our adjustable weight and the new Venom spring we put in there. So you can see they hit peak RPMs pretty much exactly the same. And as you move through here, as you continue in time, the green bar really starts to drop. That's our adjustable weight bar. And the white to white is about 2,000 RPMs. So when you put it in context like that, that's pretty decent sized gap. We'll go ahead and move down here. So this curve down here you're seeing, that is speed over time. So that's acceleration. And when you zoom in here, it's pretty much identical all the way through. We really didn't sacrifice any speed, any acceleration, anything like that when we lower those RPMs. So, and if you want to, you can go ahead and add more weight to your adjustable weight, and you'll see your RPMs continue to drop. You'll see that gap widen. But while you're doing that, that is also when you're going to see this start to spread out. You're going to lose a little bit of that acceleration, you're going to lose some speed. But if you're not looking for peak performance on speed, yeah, that's probably the way to go. Probably not a bad option for you. So we will go ahead and get to work and get started on the primary clutch here. Alright, first things first, we're going to show you how to remove the primary clutch here. We lifted the back end of the Gator up here just for easier access. You're going to have to get to a clutch cover. First of all, there's a rubber tube here you're going to have to remove with a metal bracket, metal clamp. So loosen that up and it should just pull right off for you. And the clutch cover has about 12 bolts bolting it up, so go ahead and get a 10mm socket, and you're going to probably want some kind of extension for your drill here. And go ahead and remove those. Alright, so we got our clutch cover removed, and we'll go ahead and take off the clutch fan plate in front of the primary clutch here. And for that you need a half-inch socket. Should come right out for you. And that reveals the primary clutch. And for that you're going to need a puller. Go ahead and start the threading until you feel it catch. And the clutch should come right out for you. Alright, so we got our primary clutch removed, and first thing you want to do is find a marker and mark it along one side along the weight, just so that you know how to reassemble your clutch and so that it's balanced. Otherwise you're going to run into some serious problems. And to get that top cover off, we're going to use a 3/8 inch socket. Alright, so we got our top plate removed, and you want to be somewhat careful when you're doing that, as there's that spring underneath that's pushing pressure up on this, so it's going to kind of come up on you a little bit. And also, this bottom part is going to drop down when you remove it, so be a little careful with that. Factory spring in here, you can just take that out and toss it wherever you want. You're not going to need that anymore. And we're going to go ahead and remove each of the weights now. And to do that, you'll need a 1/8 Allen wrench and a 3/8 socket. And the easiest way I found to do this is to just start it out and break the initial seal. Go ahead and grab your drill. And nice quick removal. You can use a socket if you want, but this is quite a bit quicker. Pull the pin. Set aside for later, along with that other nut you just grabbed. Weight should pop right out for you, and you want to repeat that process for both of these two weights. And toss these weights aside too, you're not going to need them anymore either. So here we have the new Rooster adjustable weight kit available from Venom products, and I give you guys a quick rundown on these. So each kit comes with 3 blank adjustable weights, and each of these weights has 3 threaded holes that you can add washers and fasteners to customize your weight out however you like. And the fasteners come in 3 different weights. So we've got these red ones over here that weigh about 3.5 grams. Blue ones in the middle here weigh about 2 grams. And the silver ones on the end weigh about 0.8 grams, along with 2 different sized washers. We got a thick washer, which weighs about 1.5 grams, along with a thin washer, which weighs about 0.5 grams. So, and they also toss in a little bottle of Loctite, which is really neat because you're going to need that eventually when you figure out your setup that you want. So I'll show you guys. This is the setup that you saw that data a little bit earlier. This is the setup we went with, and this is what we use. This lowers the RPMs quite a bit, and it keeps the speed and acceleration almost identical to the original factory weights. So. And what we got in here is we got the red fastener and the heel, along with 2 thick washers. In the middle we got the blue fastener with no washers, and on the end we have the silver fastener with also no washers. So, and just to make a point, this is a baseline setup. Once you find out the setup that you want, make sure that you do use the Loctite on there. Make sure you add just a tiny bit to each of the threading. It doesn't take much, just a dab to each of them, and get them screwed in there really good. So, and then once you get your first weight done, make sure the other 2 are identical to that, and we'll go ahead and get those installed back in the primary clutch. Alright, so we got our primary clutch back out here, and we got all the weights put back exactly how we took the original factory weights out. Big part of that is the pins, these little pins and the nuts you took out earlier. Make sure they go back all in the same direction and the same way you took them out, or you're going to have some balancing issues with your clutch. It's probably going to throw some stuff out of whack and cause some major problems in the future. And so we'll get to primary springs. The primary spring we decided to go with is the red-green spring available here from Venom products. And we have 15 to 20 springs available. So, you know, there's just a ton of variation you can do. Each one of them is a little bit different. This is just the one we decided to go with just because it worked very well with the weight we decided to go with on the adjustable weight. So we'll get that tossed back on there. Make sure you get your yellow side all lined up back over here, along with the yellow mark on the top clutch plate here. Go ahead and get that on, and it's kind of weird. You got to push the weight down a little bit, or the spring down, excuse me. Go ahead and tighten one of the bolts up, and get it in there nice and flush. And you're going to want to hand tighten these just a little bit, and go ahead and get all those real tightened up. And go ahead and put your primary clutch back on the Gator, put the clutch cover back on, and that big rubber tube, and you should be good to go. And that is how you use these adjustable weights and remove and reassemble the primary clutch for the John Deere Gator.